Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Nocturne game, one of the OGs of the jungle. Which one? And sadly, he hasn't really been keeping up, even though I've covered this before. Which I sort of got to bring it up again just for as a quickie. If you guys haven't watched the old Nocturne videos, you simply forgot. I've gone about and spoken about how Nocturne is too fair of a champion to sort of be, strong anymore. The thing is, when he came out, he was considered pretty degenerate to the game. He was, at that time, mobility wasn't as strong, so his ultimate was just a guaranteed kill on anybody you got. It was basically just deliver Nocturne and then slaughter them. Nocturne had way more damage. His Sphere had like double the range and shit. And so Riot worked throughout the years to sort of bring him down to a fine balance. But the thing is, Nocturne was kind of a successful Degenerate champion being brought down to a good level because he had a lot of counterplay options available to him just naturally. Alright, so his Q, if his Q misses, he loses out on a large amount of AD if he can't fight on top of the little shadow. His W has a small window of opportunity to actually activate, and his Tether has a huge counterplay moment in which they could just walk away from you or burst out of the Tether and then you don't get it at all. Plus, the ultimate's range has been nerfed down quite a bit, and it gives a big old, hey, I'm coming, folks, kind of thing. So, yeah, it makes them fair. And unfortunately, in comparison to other junglers or more specialized champions who have something really grossly strong about them that sort of makes them a better choice, Nocturne just can't stack up anymore. He's sort of like the gatekeeper in the middle of everything, and you sort of just pick him because you want to rather because you need to. Like, in the past, I would pick him as my go-to. I would need to win this kind of jungler. Just slaughter everything, get super farmed up, and just kill things, right? You can still look up an older video where I went with a Say to Devour, and I just slaughtered everybody, got super pissed off, farmed up all day, and then killed everybody. Something like that is what I would do with Nocturne. However, nowadays, I would pick someone else like Vi or just an AD Jarvan or some shit like that. The Nocturne is just completely unnecessary despite not being a terrible champion. So, that brings up the point. I don't even know what Riot's plans on doing with him anymore, or if they're going to bother with the assassin thingy. He just kind of needs like a sort of Trundle level reimagining rather than a full-on rework or anything. Either way, as you can see, this game is sort of going in my favor for the short part. My team and I are very coordinated, and we're sort of showing up at the right time at the right places to stop the enemy team from getting any kills, saving our teammates, and controlling most of the map. We already got bottom lane down, mostly thanks to the fact that we have a very unusual AP misfortune. By the way, I'm a little bit out of breath, mostly because it's very ridiculously hot, and then I hurt myself when I was drinking water. You know when you drink water and you laugh at the same time and it goes down the wrong tube? Exactly that. I was laughing, it hurt me, and now I'm sort of like a little bit in a pain. So, either way, I kind of want to upload this video because it goes in conjunction with the video from the other day, the Degeneracy video, because remember, it sort of showcases that even champions like that can be ultimately balanced, but they have to be balanced by giving them kind of big gaps, or big weaknesses, so to speak, rather than just making them shit, because otherwise they'll just be shit. Nocturne isn't shit. He's just sort of outdone by being older. Like, just a bunch of the things that he had that were really great on him have started being given to other champions, and as such, he's just kind of outdated, right? But the other champions, someone like Callista and Callista having that ridiculously stupid passive, what kind of counterplay is there in that passive rather than waiting for her to do something stupid and then killing her for that, right? Nocturne, on the other hand, like as I already said, you could just plan ahead. Like if he comes in, just wait to dodge wait to avoid his E and dodge his Q, and all of a sudden he doesn't really do as much damage as possible. Nocturne needs a lot more farm, so you can 1v1 him with a lot of champions, but if you don't engage on him properly, then he'll dice you to pieces, etc., right? So, a Degenerate champion sort of does have a chance of being healthy as long as Riot puts a healthy amount of counterbalance to it, but it doesn't seem that some of those champions I listed in the other day are really going to get that other than just getting their legs broken. Nonetheless, though, Nocturne is perhaps one of the more important champions to ever be released because it kind of showcases like the middle point of the entire game where, you know, you can make a really finely, fairly balanced champion, or at least a champion that has become balanced throughout the ages, but it won't necessarily make them great champions or picks at all. I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with picking Nocturne. He's a adequately fine champion, but he's not spectacular enough to just sort of be this amazing pick. You could have done better, or what his tricks and stuff aren't as valuable as they could ever were before. And they might not be, unless some really great on the hit items and just straight out AD items come out in the future. But then usually Riot nerfs those items because of other champions. Anyhow, back to the game at hand. You can see our continued map control is going on. I'm getting super big, I'm getting super farmed, and at this point I'm pretty much able to assassinate anybody I jump on top. My team is also very well balanced. The only weird pick, of course, is the Misfortune, but even then it's been proving not to be the most detrimental thing ever. The only way the enemy team could possibly win is if Master Yi gets really big and they are able to pick off somebody that could stop them in team fights like Maokai or Azir. So basically put, the enemy team's only chance of winning this is by killing someone they don't really want to be targeting, aka Maokai. Because otherwise in every team fight we're going to grab Master Yi, tear him a new one, and then they'll lose because they got nothing. The enemy team is a momentum based team, and they've already lost all momentum. They don't have a lead, so yeah, they got absolutely rolled. So the only way right now they could also possibly win is if like a Misfortune tries to gank a Twisted Fate, takes a bunch of damage, and she and Azir chase him a little bit too much, and the Jhin is on some like probably near dragon or something, and then Jhin gets caught and killed, and then Misfortune gets killed, and then Azir, just standing by protecting the turret, possibly gets grabbed by Bard. But of course, those things might not exactly happen as I just said, right? Yeah. Either way, fortunately for us, the Maokai is, flanking them from behind, and Lucian just dashes on top of him, basically making himself easier to kill. And we finished them off too. We killed both of them off. Malphite and Master Yi left their teammates at some point for some reason, so they were pretty easy pickings. If we saw that Master Yi and Malphite were coming, we might have just backed off after maybe killing the Twisted Fate and just called it quits from that. But because of that, we were able to basically return our fortunes in our favor. And at this point, yeah, our damage is massive. The only one who has a chance of doing anything to us is the Master Yi, but there's no chance in hell he's going to get close to absolutely anybody. So, hooray for us, right? At this point, we get to do some really dumb shit like tower diving, just being absolutely badonkadonk. So, yay for us. Map control is ours. You can see that we basically warded all of bottom lane, and the only thing the enemy team could possibly do is sort of farm top, right, or push it, which is what you'll see Master Yi and Malphite and Twisted Fate sort of try to do. They're gonna try to split push, try to get something done against us, because if they can split us up, then I guess that's a hope for them, right? Split us up, we might have less CC, and maybe the Master Yi can go to town on us. Though in my opinion, they should have probably put the Master Yi on sort of split pushing duty, while the Twisted Fate sort of tried wave clearing. Because since now the Master Yi is kind of either constantly dead or just on bodyguard duty, not really getting anything done. And plus, as a result of all that, Master Yi split pushing allows him to have a better chance of escaping. Even my fear can't even stop the Master Yi. So, remember, all the weird yelling you hear, my neighbors are having yet another really loud pool party. And children are just ridiculously annoying. Either way. We are constantly controlling Dragon, because if we can't beat them timely enough, because it always seems like it's one of our issues in the group, in that we can't really push for a victory unless it's an absolute slaughter fest, then we might as well sort of starve them out, right? Misfortune gets caught by the Twisted Fate, Maokai catches him, kills him, and we've got basically the enemy team can't leave their tower or anything without getting murdered at this point. Either way, we group up, we take the tower, we're basically trying to prepare for the final siege. We don't really go for Baron, mostly because we feel if we do so, it might let the enemy team sort of recover, control the map. So we're just trying to pressure it this way, because they can't fight, and we're just trying to engage into fights, just to sort of put the nail in the coffin, finish them off, end the game, go on with our lives. We pick off 2 of them rather easily, somebody else died at some other point, and we're able to take down the inhibitor tower rather easily just as well. And of course the inhibitor alongside that. Now, also take notice of my build. Normally on a Nocturne, I would try to be more quasi-defensive in this, like Mob Mortius, that kind of stuff. But because I got ridiculously fed in this game, I decided to go with a more AD kind of build. And I know some people prefer the AD caster assassin build, but I prefer the a more stabby kind of build, right? Either way, they give chase against a Jhin, but unfortunately for them, the Misfortune, who's pretty much on the point at all goddamn times, stops them. They're very afraid of a support Misfortune, a support AP Misfortune. There we go. Anyways, Master Yi comes at me. He uses ultimate to run away from my fear. The fear allows him to go, 100 miles per hour. He taunts me, and then he forgets that I have an ultimate, so I just jump on top of him and dice his ass in two. Hooray! That's what you get for taunt. Anyhow, the game's basically done at this point. You can see it's about to end very soon, the team battle at the very least. So just sort of waiting for the enemy team to just either scatter a little bit too much and allow the Azir and the Misfortune and the Maokai to absolutely blow them up. And with that, the enemy team gets wiped out one last time. And with that, they choose to finally surrender. It was a pretty painful game for them. They lost by two times the kills, and at least it showcased what Nocturne kind of does now. This channel is supported by my sponsors, Crunchyroll and Loot Crate. Check out the description below for links to the websites. Signing up for any trials, including Crunchyroll's free anime trial, greatly supports my channel. Also remember to give the video a like to support the channel and subscribe if you haven't yet. I've also made a Patreon now, and if you wish to support me through that medium, then I welcome it.